very difficult to sort of project a future, but I'll just say quickly, I'll just say three things. The first is that I don't think we should think about digital theater in opposition to physical theater. This is a common mistake that I think everyone is making. Everyone fears that digital theater is going to replace physical theater, and physical theater is going to disappear, and we're never going to have it again, etc., etc. These are really dramatic responses, and I would caution everyone to not jump at these hurried conclusions. Physical theater is here to stay. We will be back in our theaters performing in a physical way, hopefully very soon. But I also think that digital theater is also here to stay. And we have to think of now theater practice as an expanded field in which there is a coexistence of both the physical theater and the digital theater. And some kind of hybridity that is possible, where some plays might purely be physical, some plays might purely be digital, and then some plays might be partly physical, partly digital as well. And it's really up to artists and creators to imagine, the varied forms of this mix. I would embrace this future very, very happily. I know that with digital theater, there are a few advantages that we have. For one, accessibility increases. There are a lot of people. If I were to say, perform The Last Poet physically in Delhi, you would not have been able to watch it, right? So many people would not have been able to watch it. So the accessibility has exploded. And it's really nice to see, people sitting in Europe, in the US, in Japan, watching this show as well. And I would love to watch, sitting here, if I can't travel, I would love to watch theater from Japan, from Tanzania, from Germany, if it's streamed properly and in a professional way. And so I think, why not? This is going to be good for theater, because there's now going to be more theater, and this is exactly what we've been wanting. That more people do theater, more people watch theater, and so I think accessibility is a great advantage to digital theater, and the third is that I am now engaged in a series of programs and talks to develop an aesthetic around digital theater. Right now there's a lot of confusion about what digital theater is. So a lot of recorded webcasts have been called theater in the last 1 year. And I think that's again a mistaken understanding of digital theater, because the only aspect that distinguishes theater from all other mediums is the fact that theater is live. If you record something and do a webcast of it, then that is not theater. It could be anything else. Sure, it could be a film, or it could be a webcast, it could be a recorded version of a theater play, etc., etc. But that is not theater. So in The Last Poet, for example, everybody thought I was crazy because I kept insisting that this would be live. And everybody told me that you can't do this. It's impossible. You cannot have live digital theater with interactivity, with a lot of sort of options that I wanted, etc. It is not possible. And nobody has attempted it. It is not possible. And that was true, actually. Nobody had attempted it. So I researched a lot. I asked my friends all around the world, and nobody could give me an example of a work of theater that was embedded within a virtual city, but was being played live. And so I thought, I want to do it. I need to do it. If this doesn't exist, then someone needs to do it. So I set about sort of finding solutions for it, and we did find solutions for it. And I think my understanding and experience of having done this is what now I'm translating into talks and taking this to panels and seminars, and sort of trying to also make people understand that digital theater has its own definition and has its own aesthetics and has its own expectations, and somehow educate people around what this is. So, for example, just yesterday, I was talking. Arundhati Nag had called me, and she wants to do a digital Ranga Shankara festival this year, and she asked me if I would curate it for her. So I said, yes, I'd love to curate it, but what I would also love to do is to not just have digital shows, but also talk around these shows, so that we develop an understanding in the theater community. We develop an understanding of what this new form is and how this new form needs to be explored. And we also talk to creators who have developed digital theater. What are the questions they faced, and how did they go about solving these problems? And perhaps maybe in a couple of years, there is a iconic book that someone writes on India's contemporary digital theater, and it has wonderful essays, and maybe that happens as well. So this is what this is what I think is the immediate future, is to develop a sort of a educational program and understanding around what digital theater is to not think of this in terms of opposition between the physical and the digital, but as a sort of an extension, as an expanded field where both can coexist, and to think about accessibility and how this has grown a lot with digital theater.